This is the Biz News Podcast, one-on-one conversations with experts in business and personal development.
Hollywood producer Samuel Nkwume hopes to carve his filmmaking career out of the splintering world of video streaming. Already an experienced producer of thriller films, Mr. Nkwume now is seeking a wider audience for his newest movie called Game of Fear. He joins us on this Bizgnus Interview podcast to talk about the opportunities he sees in the Hollywood of the 21st century. Your background includes a bachelor's degree in accounting. How on earth did you go from accounting to showbiz?
Well, I always wanted to work in the film industry, but in Nigeria, where I grew up in, there wasn't a lot of opportunities. So I decided to go with accounting, and I guess it was 8 months in my first job. I went to the bathroom. I was so tired. I looked at the mirror and I was like, I want to really go back. I really want to do film and not this. And so from there, I just started, I started a website where me and my friends, we were writing reviews for movies. It didn't work out too well. Not a lot of people were reading it. So that failed. And then I moved here to LA.
So you moved halfway around the world to follow your passion. Has it been rewarding?
Yes, I will say I'm getting there. It's been rewarding. It's nice. It's really wonderful to do something that you enjoy doing, especially something you're passionate about, because the industry is not that easy. So passion takes you far. So yes, I am happy.
The industry is known for grinding up people and spitting them out. Where do you hope to be if you can avoid the grinder in, say, 5-10 years?
Well, 5-10 years, I plan to, have a shot at the Academy Award. I'm not saying winning the Academy Award, but, at least getting there, getting nominated. That's the plan. That's the long-term plan.
Is it important that you are strong in accounting or strong in, say, writing?
Well, it depends on what area of the industry you plan to work in. I work mainly as a line producer, so I work with a lot of numbers, budgeting, schedule. Being an accountant, it does help because I'm pretty good with numbers. I'm good at estimating cost and all that, and that's from my accounting background. But if you want to be, a writer, writing will be better for you. Yeah.
Well, tell us about the current project that you're working on.
Okay, so I'm presently working on a psychological thriller. It's called Game of Fear. It's about an agoraphobic teenager that's someone who's scared of going outside or outside their homes or in tight places. He loses his brother to what's being termed a suicide. He doesn't believe it's suicide, so he wants to find out the truth. But the problem is he's agoraphobic. He can't go outside. So now he has to defeat his fear and also defeat his over-controlling mom. His mom will stop at anything to make sure he doesn't get better, so she can always be there for him. So it's sort of like a very twisted family dynamic, and the movie sheds light on agoraphobia, which is something suffered by nearly 2% of the American population, but it's not spoken about a lot. So
now, Samuel, are you directing it, writing it? What is your role in this?
Yes, I have a co-writer. I'm going to direct. It's going to be my first directing feature. We've been working on it for some time now, but we plan to go in production in the summer.
Is the show business, is that a good investment of time, energy, money, etc.? And if so, tell us why.
If I'm being honest, I tell people that if you're better off investing in real estate than in the film business, because it's just so much high risk to reward, where production cost of everything is rising. There's a lot of streaming networks and a lot of distributors out there, but doesn't mean there's more profit for especially like independent filmmakers. So as I said, it's only passion that can drive you as far as you want to go, because if you're in it for like the money or the business side, then you're gonna have to learn a lot. You're gonna be shocked.
By shocked, give us some dollars and cents, if you don't mind. You don't have to reveal secrets, but give us the parameters, the ballpark.
Okay, there are a lot of movies, for example, a lot of independent movies right now, and 90%, at least, I'm sure 90% of independent filmmakers or films, they never make their money back. So you're going into a business where you have to fight against the studios, the big names. You don't have the money. You have to make whatever's in your script for a low budget and then fight against other independent movies out there. So it's a lot of competition going on. And people might make 2-3 projects, no profit, before the 4th project, they get a break. So if you're in it for the money, then it's not going to be easy. As they said, an artist will always create stuff. So if an artist is broke, he's hungry, he's still going to make stuff regardless. So that's how it is.
And so you have, if you are producing that, you have to pay the actors with something, because they can't go down to McDuck's and say, "Hey, I'm an actor, give me a hamburger." How do you do that?
Right. Well, that's another important part of filmmaking. You have to fund a project. There are a lot of scripts, hundreds and thousands of scripts that will be put out there, and not a lot of them will make it to production. So having a script is one thing, and then getting the funds for it to go into production, and then to complete the movie is another thing. So funding is a whole different subject, a long conversation. But yeah, there are different means out there for independent filmmakers to get their funds to go in for production.
It would seem almost that this might be a golden era. If you think of all the streaming channels, there seems to be one popping up every other day. So surely there are plenty of ways to make money. And assuming you finish this movie and you've got it, quote, in the can, although I guess it would be on one of those little thumb drive things these days. What do you do? How do you go about selling it?
Well, yeah, there are different ways of getting distribution. A lot of people will go to film markets. You have the AFM, you have Sundance. There are different film markets you can get distributors for your movie. A lot of people already have, this industry works with connections. People have connections to people who know distributors, people know people. You know, especially for an independent filmmaker, I'd say, as you said earlier, there's more outlets now for people to showcase their movies, but it's still a very saturated market. So, you know, you have to do your homework and know what platform works for you. And, you know.
Well, Samuel, where might we ultimately see your movie?
Well, we'll be able to see it on Amazon Prime, you know, Apple, on iTunes, the stores, the regular stores where you can purchase, you know.
Is that how then the movie will be generating its revenue, from people buying it individually, or what?
Well, yeah, for now, it's still in the wire, but yeah, streaming networks will play a major plan, because you have to understand, every movie, you have to know what works for it. Someone can say, okay, I want my movie to premiere in the theaters, but now you have to ask yourself, there's a lot of cost that goes into getting your movies in theaters. Is it worth it? Do you think your revenue will match that? Like, you know, you also have to advertise and put all that into perspective. So you have to understand what kind of audience will watch my movie, what kind of platform will be better suited for my movie.
So there is far more than just the dream of being on the big screen.
Right.
You have to look at almost every little penny that goes, oh, what a great place for somebody whose background is in accounting.
Right. Exactly. I mean, it's a very beautiful industry if you are passionate about it, and sky's the limit.
And so then driving this behind all of that is somebody who knows how to add things up, like somebody like yourself, for example.
Yeah, well, yeah, I did number. I mean, yeah, it's a very helpful skill, especially when I do a lot of productions that want to estimate like the cost of how much the script will cost them. They haven't like funded yet, but they want to know how much. So that's how I started I got into line producing. I just, make a shooting schedule and a budget for them. And I kept on doing that, and with numbers, it's great. I enjoy it.
Well, it's good somebody enjoys the numbers, because the numbers people often get criticized. But I guess without you guys, nothing could get done.
Right. Well, no, if everyone's running away, everyone wants to be a director. Everyone wants to be that creative, Same thing when I first went to film school. Initially, I wanted to be a director. I still want to direct, but, there are other great components of the movie industry that people would explore over time. I find out and say, okay, maybe I wasn't trying to do this. I will do this instead,
Well, Samuel, you have a place where people can get hold of you and learn more about your background, and that would be your website. Would you tell us what that is, please?
Oh, yes. www.samuel, Samuel Nkwume, that's my last name, NKWUME.com. So www.samuelnkwume, NKWUME.com.
Samuel, you have been revealing a lot about the secrets of Hollywood in this conversation. What would you like to add that we haven't talked about?
Well, I'd just like to say, everybody, whatever your dream is or whatever you think you want to do in the industry, first step I would say is you can always do it. You don't have to go to film school if that's not your route, or if you're considering going to film school. Whatever step or whichever you want to take, whichever path you want to take, as long as you're passionate about it, just go for it. But remember, you have to put in your all, and it's going to be tough because it's very competitive.
You've been watching the Biz News Podcast. We welcome your input. Send your email to editor@biznews.com. Thanks for watching.